Hey everyone, welcome back. You ever get that feeling like, whoa, the future of work is changing crazy fast?
It can feel that way, definitely.
Today we're diving deep into a lecture by Professor Chen Kui all about AI and what it means for, well, everyone, really.
Definitely impactful.
He talks about these 4 A's of AI literacy. Sounds
Yeah.
kind of catchy, right?
It does. It's a really useful framework, actually.
So should we jump right in?
Let's do it, starting with the first A, awareness.
Okay, so like knowing AI exists.
Well, yes, but it goes deeper than that. Professor Chen's point is that understanding AI, what it is, how it works, what it can and can't do, that's vital for everyone, not just tech people.
Like you got to know the rules of the road even if you're not a mechanic. Right? Precisely. And get this, he argues that knowing how to actually use AI, that's going to be the big skill, the thing that sets people apart no matter what their job is.
More important than experience, even.
That's what Professor Chen argues. He thinks people who've mastered AI will be more productive, more valuable than those who haven't, even if they've been doing something for years.
Wow. Okay, that's kind of wild when you think about it. But it makes sense in a way. AI is changing everything so fast.
It really is. And one of the reasons it's so powerful is that it thinks differently than regular computer programs. It's not just following instructions. It's more like mimicking the human brain, you know?
Yeah, like all those neural networks learning from tons of data.
Exactly. And just like even teachers are sometimes surprised by how their students think. Even AI engineers are sometimes amazed by the stuff AI systems come up with.
So we're kind of training these digital prodigies, but we don't have all the answers ourselves.
That's a great way to put it. And that's where foundation models come in.
Right, those AI systems trained on massive amounts of data, like everything they can get their hands on.
Exactly. Professor Chen calls them digital Swiss Army knives because they can do so many different things, write, code, analyze data, you name it.
Super multi-talented. But there's a catch, right? I mean, if it were that easy, everyone would be using AI already.
Well, there's definitely a learning curve. Professor Chen warns against just throwing information at AI and expecting perfect results. It's like asking directions from someone who's too proud to admit they're lost.
You might get a very confident but very wrong answer.
Exactly. And that's why retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, is so important. We need to give AI the right context, the background knowledge it needs to understand what we're asking.
So it's like giving AI a crash course before asking it to solve a problem. Make sure it has all the information it needs.
Exactly. Think of it like this. If you asked a friend to help bake a cake, you wouldn't just hand them flour and eggs and say, go for it. You'd give them a recipe, right?
Yeah.
That's what RJAC does for AI.
Ah, that makes sense. It's like giving AI the recipe for success. Speaking of recipes, Professor Chen's lecture gets really interesting when he starts talking about the specific tools that use RJAC. Like, did you know there are tools that let you have a conversation with a YouTube video?
It's true. You can upload a transcript to an AI, and it's like you're talking to the person in the video. They even have tools that can pull information from research papers, PDFs, even handwritten notes.
Wait, so no more spending hours reading through dense research to find one little fact. Sign me up for that. Professor Chen really seems to know his stuff. He even talks about using AI for things like creating presentations and coming up with lesson plans. It's not just for research, it can actually be a creative partner.
Absolutely. Professor Chen argues that the real value in most jobs comes from transforming one type of data into another, whether it's a teacher turning textbook information into an engaging lesson or a marketer turning data into a compelling campaign.
And AI can help us with that transformation, making us more efficient and effective. But I think it's important to remember what you said earlier. It's about working with AI, not against it. It's a tool, not a replacement for human skills and creativity.
Right. And that's something Professor Chen emphasizes throughout his lecture, the importance of using AI responsibly and ethically. It's not just about what we can do, but what we should do.
Love that. Okay, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a quick break so our listeners can process all of this awesome information. When we come back, we'll dive into the second A of AI literacy, access. We'll explore some of the specific tools Professor Chen recommends and how you can start experimenting with them today.
All right, so we're back ready for round 2 with the AI literacy A-team.
A-team, love it. Okay, so access, what's the deal? Is AI going to cost me an arm and a leg?
That's the thing, it doesn't have to. Professor Chen, he's big on this. There are tons of AI tools out there, many totally free, or with free trials you can check out.
Music to my ears. Free is my favorite price.
Right. He even says, think of it like a buffet. You don't got to try everything at once. Just see what catches your eye.
Smart. Pace yourself with the AI knowledge buffet. I like it. But speaking of AI doing the work, Professor Chen actually uses AI to help him with his research, right?
Oh, yeah, he's all about using what he teaches. Says it's totally changed how he works. Used to spend hours and hours going through papers, articles, all that.
Ugh, tell me about it. Information overload is real.
Right. But now Professor Chen, he uses AI to find the important stuff, the key insights, way faster. It's like having a personal assistant who can summarize a whole stack of documents in minutes.
Okay, that sounds amazing, but how does it actually work? What tools is he using? Spill the tea.
He's got this whole system, actually, where he combines different AI tools, like each one has a special skill.
Oh, so he's like conducting an AI orchestra.
Exactly. He might use one tool called, get this, Elmo, to summarize a bunch of research papers.
Elmo, like the Muppet.
Uh-huh. Yeah, kind of funny name, right? That's super powerful. Then he might use something called Chat PDF to, like, compare the main points from different papers.
Okay, time out. We gotta break these down. What exactly can Elmo do?
Think of it as your research assistant on steroids. You can feed it an article, any article, even a crazy long one, and it'll summarize it for you. Pull out the main points, answer your questions about it.
Hold up. So I can ask Elmo a question about a research paper, and it'll actually give me the answer. I don't have to read the whole thing.
Pretty much. It's like having a superpower, being able to absorb information that fast.
Okay. That alone is mind-blowing, but then there's Chat PDF. What's that all about?
So Chat PDF, just like the name says, lets you have a conversation with a PDF.
Wait, I can chat with a document now.
You got it. Instead of just passively reading, you can ask it questions, have it compare different parts, even get it to generate creative summaries. Professor Chen's point is that this makes learning way more interactive, more engaging.
It's like instead of just reading a textbook, you're having a conversation with the author. That's amazing. Okay, I'm sold. How do I get my hands on these tools?
That's the best part, Professor Chen. He's all about making this stuff accessible. He actually provides links to the websites and everything right in his lecture notes.
Now that's what I call a good teacher, sharing the knowledge wealth. So we've got research and analysis covered, but Professor Chen also uses AI for more creative stuff, right? Like putting together presentations or coming up with lesson plans.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He sees AI as this partner in the creative process,
Yeah.
especially when you hit that wall, writer's block.
Ugh, don't even get me started. Writer's block is the worst.
Right, but Professor Chen, he says it's like having a brainstorming buddy on call 24/7. You can bounce ideas off it, have it generate different versions, suggest new angles.
Okay, that would be a lifesaver some days. But this next one might surprise some people. Professor Chen also uses AI to look at student work, right?
He does. But he makes a really important distinction. He doesn't use it to grade their work, more like to understand their learning process better.
So it's more about identifying patterns, seeing where students might be struggling or where they're excelling, right?
Exactly. It's about personalizing the learning experience, which ultimately helps both the students and the teacher.
I love that. So we've talked awareness, we've got access covered.
Time for the third A application. The rubber meets the road, right? Putting all this into practice.
So we're back, and I don't know about you, but my brain is officially full of AI tools. Like, I need to upgrade my mental storage space or something.
It's a lot to take in, that's for sure. But remember what we said about the buffet. Don't feel like you have to gobble up everything at once.
Right, small bites. Speaking of which, how do we actually start using these tools, like in real life? That's Professor Chen's third A, right? Application.
Exactly. He compares it to learning a new language you wouldn't expect to write a novel on day one.
Oh, thank goodness, because that would be terrifying.
Right. Start small. Maybe learn a few basic phrases, then gradually build up your skills. AI's the same way.
So, baby steps. Instead of trying to, like, redo my whole life, I should pick one thing and experiment with that.
Exactly. If you're drowning in emails, maybe try out an AI email assistant. Or if you're struggling with research, try Elmo for summarizing those long articles.
Okay, that makes sense. Start small, build confidence. And speaking of building things, Professor Chen's fourth A, advocacy, that one really got to me. It's about, like, thinking bigger, right? Not just how we use AI, but how it's used in the world.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that AI's impact goes way beyond our individual lives. It's shaping society, and we all have a responsibility to make sure that happens in a way that's ethical, that's beneficial for everyone.
Okay, so that's a big idea, but how do we actually do that? What does AI advocacy look like in the real world?
It can start small, actually. Maybe you tell your friends and family about what you're learning, especially those who might be a little intimidated by AI. Professor Chen talks about how important it is to demystify the technology to help people see its potential.
Right, like knowledge is power, but only if you share it.
Exactly. You could even volunteer to teach a workshop on basic AI literacy, or talk to your company about using AI responsibly. Every little bit helps.
So it's not about being a tech expert, it's about starting conversations, raising awareness.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're not just along for the ride. We have a say in how AI develops and how it's used. Professor Chen reminds us that the future isn't something that happens to us, it's something we create.
That's a powerful message to end on. So, to wrap things up, we've got the 4 A's: awareness, access, application, advocacy. It's like our roadmap for navigating the world of AI, not just for ourselves, but for everyone.
Beautifully said. And I think the key takeaway here is to approach AI with curiosity, a sense of responsibility, and remember, we're all in this together.
Love it. So, to all our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep those conversations going. Until next time, stay curious.